This episode is sponsored by Smart Travel, a new podcast from NerdWallet. You know that one friend who always finds the best travel deals, picks the right cards, and somehow ends up in first class for the price of coach? How do they do that? Well, Smart Travel is like that friend, but in podcast form. They cover all things travel finance, like which travel cards earn their keep and which are just heavy, shiny metal, and planning group trips that won't ruin your budget or your friendships. So travel smarter and spend less. That's the key with help from NerdWallet. Follow Smart Travel wherever you get your podcasts. Armchair Explorer is a part of the Voyescape podcast network. Check out all of their shows from around the world at voyescape.com. So yeah, the River Nevis race, right? This is the best piece of Scottish lunacy that you'll ever hear about. You know Ben Nevis, of course, right?
Is that a person, place, or a thing?
It's a mountain.
Okay.
Ben Nevis.
Two of the above.
It might be named after like Sir Ben or something, but it's Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis is the highest mountain in Scotland, which to hike up is a big deal. Like it's a hard hike. And coming off Ben Nevis is the River Nevis, right? And once a year, they hold this thing called the River Nevis race. And basically, the nickname for this thing is called the World Extreme Lilo Championships.
Lilo?
Lilo being the inflatable pool beds that you lie in. I know that in America it's a different word, but it's the same thing. And here's what has to happen. So I entered this, by the way. So this is to premise it all. So basically, you have to go down a set of class 4 and class 5 rapids in the River Nevis using any novelty inflatable device you want.
Oh, anything.
It's timed, and the winner is declared the World Lilo.
But is it timed in the sense of like they really care about the presentation more than the time?
No.
It's actually a race.
Timed. Like some people care more about the presentation. Like, I'll be honest with you. There are people with like giant pink flamingos.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's people with like inflatable dolls in all sorts of compromising situations going down class 5 rapids. But I entered this thing as part of my...
And what were you riding? Who were you riding?
Oh, I was riding a standard Lilo. I was good because I actually got to interview the current winner of that year.
Nice.
And he was just like, mate, just go with a classic camp
Don't
bed.
show off.
Yeah, not even a pool one. Go with the classic camp bed thing. And so basically, the only way I could describe it is it's a little bit like if you were to combine extreme white water rafting with Monty Python. I was like, we're like Monty Python's Navy. Yeah, basically, if you can imagine about 100 people in wetsuits standing beside like a raging torrent of water, all holding like inflatable devices of some kind or another. Like the guy behind me's got like a giant green dinosaur and I've got my pool floaty and all of that. And then you jump in. It is one of the biggest rushes ever, and halfway through you actually have to like jump off a cliff in front of like there was probably about 300 drunk Scottish people just jeering you on the entire way.
I'm just picturing a chorus at the bottom of "It's only a flesh wound."
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Anyway, I'll be doing that story later.
Well, should we get into it?
Let's get into it. Yeah, welcome back, guys. It's been a minute. We've had a couple of months off now.
We have.
I'm super excited to come back. Oh, here we go.
Back again.
Yeah, don't play anymore because we don't want to pay the publishing on that.
Budget.
But we're back. We've got a whole new series coming up. We're talking to someone who's climbed all 7 of the highest volcanoes on all 7 summits.
On every continent, I believe.
We're talking to Aboriginal storyteller about Uluru, the famous Ayers Rock in Australia. We're going to go on a bit of a road trip up in the Northern Territories there. We are working with Lonely Planet.
Oh, yeah.
Did I just drop that?
Just a little one there.
Yep. So very cool. We're going to do a project with them. The first piece we're doing is we're going to go up and see the Northern Lights. We're going to Arizona. We haven't done this trip yet, but we're actually about to go to Arizona to record a series on location about the 7 wonders of Arizona. I think Arizona is like the most wonder-filled state of
Truly
all the states.
wonderful.
Yeah. Like you think about the Grand Canyon, obviously. But there's all sorts of other ones we're going to pick out too that you maybe haven't heard of. So we're going to talk about that later as well.
I think we're going to cover just about every continent on this one, I think, honestly.
Yeah. So thanks for coming, guys. If you haven't listened to this show before, Pathways is kind of where we set the scene. We talk about all the things that we're working on for this series ahead, all the episodes that are coming up, some of the trips we've done, kind of everything that we're looking forward to. We try and do lots of different types of episodes, from immersive travel documentaries we record on location, stuff we make in studio, destination guides, bucket list trips that are just like that one incredible piece, interviews, of course, with really some of the most interesting people in travel, adventure, conservation that we just love talking to. So we try and create like this whole kind of audio travel magazine, if you like, lots of different types of features. And this is like not, I wouldn't say it's the front cover. It's almost like
the tablet.
You open it up. There's like the obligatory ad that pays for the rest of the ad. Then there's like the
comics.
Then there's someone else that's way more attractive than me and you. And then there's me and you, Jason.
The classifieds.
And that's Pathways. Yeah.
The personal classified. No, yeah.
Awesome. So onwards. Let's go onwards anyway. So one of the stories that I want to share. So we do these bucket list episodes, which are basically like, if you can imagine, one experience, one hike, one adventure that like just stick it on the bucket list.
Yeah, straight to it.
This is one that I did. It's called the Old Salt Road, right? Because
where are we?
So we're in Italy. We're in northern Italy, around Genoa and the Apennine Mountains, right? And the salt roads were things that traders used to kind of come from the plains, the Lombardy plains, and then they would cross the mountains and back again from the ports on the coast there. And they would trade salt and wine and all these other things. So there was like this natural path that built up called the salt roads. But they'd almost like faded into, like you couldn't even find it anymore. And then this company that I discovered were trying to work to like stitch them together again so that you could kind of walk the salt road of old.
Yeah.
And so I did this. It was an incredible experience because you were going through a part of Italy where, you know, almost no one was speaking English, certainly in the first and middle part of it.
Not touristy.
And there were incredible mountains, you know, just these beautiful little lodges.
Good wine.
Great wine. And then you end up on the coast, and that piece of the coast is just unreal. But instead of playing a clip, I thought what I could do is just read you
a little
section of the piece that I wrote about it. This is like bucket list within bucket list. So here's a little piece I wrote, right? Sometimes the wrong path is the best path. I was stumbling down the side of a steep mountain slope, pushing through thorny bushes, scratched, thirsty, and utterly confused, but I was smiling. Whilst walking the old salt road, an ancient trade route across the Ligurian hills in northwest Italy, I'd become hopelessly lost. But as I was cursing my lack of navigational instinct, something magical happened. I rounded a corner into a mountain meadow filled with dozens of wild horses, muscled stallions with jet black manes, gold-skinned mares, and tiny foals. Startled at first, they soon found themselves more curious than afraid and gradually came to graze by my side. It took me half a day to find my way back again, but it was worth every cut and bruise. The best adventures always happen when you least expect it.
It's very Tolkien-esque.
It is. Yeah. I know. And it happened for real. It was kind of my little moment. And what was so cool about it is I'd literally, you know, I did the classic shortcut. I was like, you know what? I think I see where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. I know better than the map.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought, I'm just going to cut across here. And it was an absolute nightmare. And I was like at that point of like, oh my God, I'm going to have to walk like 3 or 4 hours back the way I came at this point. And then there they were, like, just to stand. And I just stood there for about an hour. But I'd never been with, like, wild horses before. Oh. It's something completely different. You know, like, horses are beautiful animals. But the only ones that I really kind of spent time with before are the ones that, you know, you're riding
in a paddock or something. Yeah.
But imagine this herd of wild horses. And they're all nervous when you get there. So that, like, you arrive and they're all sort of... And it's a little bit scary. They're big animals.
Oh, yeah.
And like a couple of, you know, are kind of walking by and to check you out. But then like, because I just sat down and I was trying to give off that energy of like, I'm cool, you know.
Yeah.
And so like, it was only about 10 minutes or so and they sort of forgot I was there. And then they were just sort of grazing all around me. It was just amazing.
That's funny. You give me so many flashbacks. Not like the way you talk about the horses and some of the imagery that you evoke in your writing on that one is like the cows in Switzerland.
Yeah.
You're talking about the bells ringing up through the valleys and kind of like having to mingle through the herds. Like we had to push through to be able to like put a tent up on somebody's property. And like they warned us as we got on there, like, you must get through the cows. And they were like, that sounds easy until you actually have to push through a herd of cows. I imagine horses are a little more
The horses were quite a bit more romantic than that.
Oh yeah, I bet.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny though is like talking about Switzerland.
Yeah.
So now, just to do like a hat trick of animals, we got chased by goats.
Goats.
And at first, when we were in Switzerland last summer, and at first it was hilarious, right? Because
until it's not.
Until like, it's so funny. We're getting chased by goats. When close the fence. And that was funny. And then all three of them
jumped the fence. Yeah.
And we're like, whoa.
There is a reason classic literature always portrays goats as like demonic characters.
Yeah.
I think it's just the eyes though too, with those sideways pupils. You're like, I'm telling you, this thing's praying to the devil.
And it was, I'm not even kidding you, it was misty and cloudy.
Oh boy.
And so you can imagine like you're on this path and you're like, I think we lost them. And then all of a sudden, like coming out of the mist, you just hear the
which normally on its own would be a very unintimidating sound.
And it's
the little like, bell ring from their neck.
Did anyone hear that?
Not
that earthy
goats.
Bell? These things followed us for like almost 2 miles.
Yeah. What did you do to them?
I mean, we didn't do anything. I think we pissed them off somehow.
Yeah. Just intrusion.
At one point I was like, listen, because I'm with Jill and the kids. I'm like, I know how to handle 3 goats, guys. And this is what you do. You basically make yourself big
up and
and then you go, whoa, and you run towards them like that. Guess how long that works for?
That doesn't work at all.
5 seconds.
No.
They scatter for 5 seconds and they're straight back at you. It's
then they
so
start doing the same thing at you.
So intimidating.
Then they stand on each other's backs or something creepy like that.
Man,
yeah.
I know. Yeah. So,
anyway,
goats. Yeah.
I've just got to ask you though, because I've read the piece already in advance. There's a part that you get to with an effigy.
No, so you wouldn't believe it. Like, so I had this like whole crazy, authentic, beautiful Italian experience. And then we get to this town on the coast called Camogli, which is by like the Cinque Terre, which is the Cinque Terre, like one of the most beautiful villages, the 5 villages in the world. It's like and they're all kind of tumbling down to the Mediterranean. It's stunningly beautiful. But Camogli is like this little village to the side of it, which is way less touristy and authentic. And Camogli's having their annual fish fry festival. So you're like, okay, cool. Like people are like, there's a giant frying pan, there's fish, there's people like playing music and stuff. And then in the evening, they start burning things. And basically what they did is they brought out this year's effigy, and it was 20 feet tall. It was wearing a white sailor's outfit, and it was a giant Lego man.
Why?
Yes.
But why?
Why? My Italian didn't go that far, but you'll have to listen in because so many cool things happen in the middle as well.
I've got nothing but questions, but we don't have time for it.
We'll answer them in the episode. Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we go on, one thing I do want to mention is, and this is so cool. Do you remember when we were on the Oregon coast?
Oh, yeah.
And we're up by those incredible dunes.
Oh, it's like Florence.
that. Yeah, exactly. Those Florence dunes. Do you remember that?
Oh,
and then we went out there.
Sandboarding.
And we met the world champion of sandboarding. I can't remember what his name is.
He was super
but he
cool.
Lived down the road.
Yeah.
And he kind of just like wandered over and gave us
barefoot,
a sandboarding lesson. Yeah. Well, that is the second coolest thing about this place. Frank Herbert, Dune, is one of my favorite books of all time. It's amazing. It's recently been made into a movie. The third part of the movie is coming out at the end of this year.
Yeah.
So what's really cool is if you want to go and see the place that inspired that movie or the place that inspired that book, it's really surprising because you might think it's the Sahara.
Yeah.
You would think that, wouldn't you? You would think it's one of these great deserts in Africa or wherever. It's not. It's in Oregon.
Yeah.
It's the Oregon dunes in Florence. What? He based the story of Dune, which is really about this desert planet. He took Arrakis. He took that inspiration from the conservation work that was being done in the Florence dunes in Oregon.
Yeah.
Like, who in the world thought Oregon was the inspiration for Frank Herbert's Dune?
Not me.
But you could go there.
Yeah.
It's not like the middle of the Sahara and you got to get dropped off by a helicopter or whatever.
Just grab a car from
You can go there
Portland.
and you can go sandboarding.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like, as you're looking towards, like, I love those movies. I love the book. And, you know, you can read about that beautiful planet, but you can go there and see the inspiration for where that came from too. And there's amazing sandboarding, and you can, you know, drive dune buggies and all that fun stuff. But actually, if you dig into it a little bit, go for a hike, meet an ecologist, do one of those things too, you can learn about those deeper themes in the book as well. And that's where the book gets like super interesting, and the film gets super interesting as well. Okay, so next up, Jace, we talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but not enough. Wind Cave, South Dakota.
Wind Cave, but we're not just going to Wind Cave in this one. We are exploring some of the small interconnected caves in the Black Hills. That's where we're going to be going in this clip here. We're going to Jewel Cave in this episode. We're going to a couple, and they might all be connected after all. The thing is with these caves is that like no one's ever fully explored them.
I love that.
Yeah. They might go forever. Who knows?
Yeah, like you look at, you know, that there's probably more like maps of the moon than there is of the cave systems under these places in America.
Literally, it does not get enough conversation. And to wit, like the person that we interview and go caving in this episode with is the dude that has gone, I'm not kidding you, the furthest underground ever of any documented human. Just gone the furthest, like caved the most mileage
so
underground.
So what is that? Like, what is that? How far is that?
So what that would involve, his name is Chris Pelzarski. He's got an amazing title that we love to feature in this episode. He's a pioneer explorer, is his LinkedIn title. And his one of his crowning achievements, because he's got a whole resume list of these things, is that he's traveled 9 miles into Jewel Cave. That's over 8 days of crawling in pitch black.
It took him 8 days to do 9 miles.
He is wiggling shoulder inch at a time for days.
My God.
Sleeping in that environment. You know, we're talking doing the worm, one shoulder at a time in places for days on end.
Imagine.
It's not, like, don't picture in your mind a tube. This is a network of branching tunnels that they have to perfectly replicate on the way out.
Right. So it's not like they're going down one cave and it's like super easy to find your way back.
No. They are branching and
Can you
branching.
imagine getting
and it's
lost in there?
constant dead ends. Like that cave that I'm talking about, Wind Cave, is currently ranked the 6th longest cave in the world, but nobody knows where it ends.
Yeah, so no one knows.
No one knows. But it's also a very culturally significant place because it's the site of the Lakota emergence story, their like origin of humanity on Earth, which is something we get to dig into that episode, interviewing an indigenous park ranger to tell us that whole story. I had the privilege, the honor of getting to like sound design kind of like the whole experience that she's describing. This clip, though, that we're going to feature is on the lighter side, where we're just caving with Chris, and we are coming face to face. This is right after I fell out on the side of a mountain, managed not to break any of our equipment, thankfully. And we're rolling up to this tiny, the size of your head entrance, and he's talking about the mountain lions that might be inside.
Okay, I don't see any mountain lions in the first like 20 feet. So
all right.
That's a lot of feet.
This is going to be freaky.
All right. I will try not to get too far ahead of you here.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we end up in an open space, or we just...
Not really.
Oh, so how do we turn around?
We will be able to turn around, but we won't be able to stand up until we come back out.
All right. Yeah.
You know, we're probably going a couple hundred feet in. All right.
After you, Jason.
You can trust me.
Yo, we've known you for at least 2 hours.
We're still clear.
I do feel I have claustrophobia, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
You have claustrophobia?
Potentially.
Oh, potentially. You don't know?
You're going to find out.
Wow. This is freaky.
I don't know.
You don't know?
You might have called our bluff on this one.
All right. And it's onto your stomach. I'm crawling with my face only an inch from the cave floor. Although I didn't have much choice, if I move my head up slightly, my helmet hits the rock ceiling. I don't think about how tiny the space is, I just move.
So Brian did make it out alive.
That's the legend, Brian Thacker, by the way.
He was sweating bullets. That was, he says at some point in that episode that he stood at the top of, you know, a million mountains and skied down them without anything that resembles fear. Looking into that dark crevice, though, I've never seen that man sweat so hard. Yeah. And he made it, though. We did the interview deep in the bowels of the cave. You can listen to it in full very soon when it's out. And it's an experience.
It's a really great one. I love it when we get to do recording on location in crazy places like this. You capture it really well. And there's this beautiful balance of like that fun and then later that deeper side too. And it's worth just hearing for the emergence story alone.
And with that balance of like the fun versus the more culturally significant, another episode that we're getting into, Sturgis.
Oh,
is of course
Let me
it
just
is. Yes, it is screaming motorcycles. I get into the mania of it, of course, but there is also a deeper emotional side of that episode where we get to meet this rider, Gloria Struck, 100 years old. She is a legend in Sturgis, has inspired countless female riders at a time where no women were riding into Sturgis. Just a few years ago, in her 90s, she was still cross-country riding into Sturgis on her own motorcycle, and we were lucky enough to get to talk to her just for a little bit. So here's a clip I'd like to share of our time with Gloria.
When I was 16 years old, my brother says, at that time, women didn't ride. He says to me, I'm going to teach you how to ride a motorcycle today. Stamp by foot. I said, no, you're not. Well, I'm still riding. He says, that day. He encouraged me. But I understand that I was kind of like women didn't ride in those days, and women just didn't have rights to a lot of things, And in fact, the women now write me cards and telephone calls and saying, I inspired them to hang in there, and the day come when they were accepted.
I had one last question. What advice would Gloria give to people coming to Sturgis?
Enjoy it.
And that cackling was the truest bit of Gloria that I think we captured there. That was really
that is her personality. 100 years
100 years old.
And one of the things that, I think that people have a preconception of motorcycle rallies. This is not something that we would necessarily always cover, but you guys came back from it and you were just raving about it. So we're cool. But one of the things that you told me that I thought was really interesting is that this is a place where there's a perception of biker gangs, which is probably unfair. Yeah. But at the same time, they do exist. They all kind of come together.
1%ers are the ones that people would be really worried about. Right. Coming from the phrase of 1% of motorcycle gangs are criminal, they lean into that and identify themselves with patches that are, whether it's literally a 1%er patch or a patch associated with a 1%er gang.
It's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? If you get nicked by the police.
It's a mark of pride. It's a mark of pride to them.
Yeah,
too.
But let's say you got pulled over.
Well, yeah. But Sturgis is a place where they say everybody leaves their colors behind, so you don't display any of those patches, and you'll see the signs on every establishment saying nothing allowed like that in here. Yeah, it has to be in neutral territory. It is Switzerland for the purpose of those
Switzerland for biker gangs.
Switzerland for bikers in those 10 days. Everybody's welcome. They say it doesn't matter what your bike is. It doesn't have to be a Harley. It could be a Triumph. It could be anything at all. Yeah. Whatever you're riding, whoever you are, they'll say whatever your background is, whatever your creed is, that you are welcome there in those 10 days.
As long as you're riding that iron horse. Brilliant. That's awesome. So we've only got one more clip to play, guys. And this is going to be from one of our signature episodes this series, which I'm super excited about because these are our kind of classic adventure episodes that we do. There's loads more that we haven't talked about, including, actually, while I think of it, Lonely Planet. Air horns! So we started working with Lonely Planet. No big deal. Very big deal. And we got the first episode of theirs coming up. It's like an expedition along the Norwegian fjords in search of the Northern Lights.
Northern Lights, yes.
Oh my God. So can I just quickly, before we go into the last clip, tell you about my Northern Lights experience?
Hit me.
So I was in Alaska, and actually, if you go scroll back, there's a bucket list episode called Sheldon Chalet, which is the most beautiful place I've ever stayed. And that's where I saw it. And no big deal, by the way, whilst we're dropping names and stuff like that. I happened to be there at the exact same time that Simon Reeve was there. You don't know Simon Reeve, but if you're from the UK, Simon Reeve is the most famous travel presenter person in the country. No big deal. Happened to be there at the same time as him. And if you were to watch his Americas documentary episode, which he started from there, and watch the scene where he sees the Northern Lights, in the reflection of the glass behind him is me at the bar.
Oh,
So
man.
no big deal.
I think
No
that
big
should be
deal.
your biography line for like the Times. It's just that little chunk right there.
Yeah, so that's my Northern Lights story.
That's killer.
What's yours?
That's killer. Well, I've only glimpsed a little bit of the lights here in Colorado. There was like kind of a freak occurrence where we got to see them in a place where you almost never would, especially with the light pollution that we have here on the Front Range. But we got to see a little glimpse of it. I want to see it though in a place like Norway, which you know, a place that prides itself on being like the best place in the world to see them clearest.
Up in the Arctic Circle, because it goes right up there too. Like that's what you have to remember. I don't know if you can place it on a map, but northern Norway, you are in the Arctic Circle. And those fjords, by the way, like, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of them, but they look like some of the most majestic is a word that's thrown out for landscapes all the time. Yeah. And I think you need to save it for places like this. Yeah. You know,
I think
it's insane.
Do you know what causes the Northern Lights?
Well, I do, but yes, go ahead.
They could be one of two things.
Okay.
They could be a light show that appears when charged particles from the sun are dragged into the atmosphere by, you know, magnetic pull, or
yes,
more likely, they could be the reflection off the armor of the Valkyries, which is what the ancient Norse believed
or
about the Northern Lights.
It could be a dragon. If you were in China, it could be like a dragon dipping in and out of the sky.
That too, yeah.
But you know what's interesting about both those things? I'm going with Valkyries, by the way.
I like that one the best.
But what's really interesting about that is most of the cultural, historical explanations of the Northern Lights involve a certain amount of like trepidation or fear.
Yeah.
And what I will say, that time I was in Alaska, when I really got to see them, I looked out my window at night. It was about 3 a.m, and I saw they were there. So I walked out, and I just walked like 20 or 30 feet away from the lodge where I was. So I wasn't that far away or anything. And it was, I can't tell you, it was scary.
Yeah.
If I'm being really honest, my first reaction was like this sort of primal, like almost fear. Like I thought something was happening, like the sky should not be doing that. And it is, even though science can explain it through the ions from the sun, but if you were to like take what that really is, like the energy of the sun that gives life to everything, you can't see that energy, right? You can't see it at all. But in that one period of time, in certain places, like only when it's perfectly dark and you're high in the northern, hemisphere, and it's just the right conditions where like the sun pushes these kind of blasts out of these ions for just a few minutes, you can see that energy, and that energy is absolutely beautiful.
Awesome doesn't really cover it in the way that we say awesome, but I mean
doesn't cover
awesome.
It. Awesome.
Full of awe.
Yeah. Okay, so one last clip. We've got tons of stuff that we don't have time, but one thing that I want to make sure that we do have time to share is the story of Ricardo Calleau.
Oh, yeah.
Who has summited, he's done like the Seven Volcanoes challenge. Like people might be familiar with the Seven Summits challenge, where you climb the highest peak in each of the 7 continents. Well, he's done that with volcanoes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just like play a little clip here of Ricardo, and then I'm going to come back and tell you about how I discovered Ricardo and what an awesome guy he is.
The fire is coming out of the core, underneath your feet. And that happened with me when the first time I saw a volcano erupting. It was like a moth to the flame. I could not resist. I had to look at it. I could not take my eyes off it anymore. They are the bringer of life because of the fertile soil, but they are also destructors. There have been many examples in our history where volcanoes have destroyed civilizations or even changed climates, or you name it. It's making you recognize that you are part of something really big, the earth underneath your feet. But at the same time, it makes you feel extremely small.
So that was Ricardo, and he's going to tell us this amazing story, which he's climbing mountains from Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. He's going to Russia, Iran, Mexico, Antarctica. So an incredible adventure. In each one of these, he has amazing stories. But check this out. So like he said, we've been talking on email. He sent me an email, and he was kind of like, highlighting some different things. So he's like, Mount Gilloway, 4,367 meters, unexplored region, no food, lost the porters, locals hunted me thinking I was a witch. It's just like tag that in the end of it.
No big deal. P.S.
Lost my porters. Locals hunted me thinking I was a witch. A similar one in Antarctica, Mount Sidley, 4,285 meters, most isolated volcano on Earth. Guide fell ill. Other team got lost. Frostbite incidents leading to amputation.
Whose?
He just leaves it there.
What good storytelling.
So yeah, exactly.
All I wanted to,
so,
I've got nothing but questions.
So all I can say is you have to listen on, but what a legend, right?
I mean, he's got some wild quotes that he throws out about this, about, just the concept of climbing volcanoes versus mountains, the idea of like a static mountain versus a living, breathing,
it's true.
Rumbling.
When you think about it,
thing that's alive and reshaping itself constantly beneath your feet. And, in regards to all the dangers that you're talking about, he has this beautiful quote that I feel like would set up just about whatever episode you're going to roll into with him, where he says, volcanoes are indifferent to human ambition.
He learned that the hard way.
I think so. Whatever you take up with you, whatever you're trying to do, they're not worried about it.
Oh, do you know what? I have an amazing volcano story, actually. So when I went to Iceland a few years ago, it was the time when there was that big volcano erupting around Reykjavik and that whole peninsula there. So a friend of mine turned me on to the fact that they've got this like live webcam alert service that if you sign up for it, they'll text you if the volcano's going off.
Lava ETA 5 minutes.
And like we landed on the plane, everyone's exhausted, and basically got the text, it's erupting. Now I'm not thinking much, but basically we went there, drove about an hour there, hiked about an hour up, right? And you can't see anything at all through the hike up. It's one of those sorts of hikes. Then you come over the top of the ridge to where you can see, and it is Mordor. Like, you cannot, it is a black volcanic cone with red fiery lava shooting up, like out of the sky everywhere. And it's, it's a couple of miles away from you, but those couple of miles are down this like flat volcanic plain. So there's like nothing between you. And it's just the most raw, primordial thing that you can imagine. And that's the thing about volcanoes as well, is like, if you think about it, they're earth builders, right? Like they're what's building new land. Yeah. Like here's this like molten lava coming up from the center of the earth and building new land. It's like the earth at literally its most raw to the core. Yeah. And so just about finished, Jason. This has been amazing as always. I've missed doing this with you, mate. Yes. Yeah, I really have. We got lots more stuff coming up. We have, just to recap, we've got the expedition to the Northern Lights. We've got an Aboriginal elder from Australia talking about Uluru, the sacred stories of Uluru. We're going up into the Northern Territories on a road trip. We're going to Wind Cave, Jewel Cave. We're hearing about the emergence story of the Lakota.
You're going to take us through Italy on the Salt Road.
We're going on the old Salt Road in Italy. We're going to Arizona. We're going to go. So we're going on a hot air balloon ride over the Saguaro Desert. We're going to the Petrified Forest.
Desert.
It's going to be an amazing 3 months of incredible stories.
A lot of wonderful audio to share.
Stay with us, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and stay with us because there's lots more coming up. So this leaves just one last thing to do, and that is the credits.
Oh, no.
And just to inform you guys, we usually play a game of cards prior to this to decide who does the credits. And Jason lost.
Twice in a row.
So unfortunately for you guys, Jason's doing the credits again. He has got the best singing voice out of all of us. So there is that on the plus side. So how would you, I'm going to give you the option first. Like, have you got a vision for how you would like to deliver the credits?
I think this is going to be a Bohemian Rhapsody kind of moment.
Because
I'm sad about losing twice. So I'm feeling like nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Armchair Productions is produced by Aaron Millar, Charles Tyree, and me. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Quick question. Do you want travel tips from people who have actually been there?
Our show is co-hosted by Tim Johnson, an award-winning travel journalist who's been to more than 145 countries around the world. And I'm David Brody, the other co-host who's been travel podcasting for 20 years while traveling to 50-plus countries around the world.
In about 10 or 20 minutes per show, we break down a destination with the kind of insight you usually only get from long guidebooks or hours of research.
So if you want expert advice, zero fluff, and travel inspiration that you can actually use, search for Travel in 10 wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also find us at boyescape.com.
Hi, I'm Pauline Fromer, host of the Fromers Travel Podcast. We post new episodes weekly, detailing the kinds of money-saving tips and cultural insights that will make your trips richer without making you significantly poorer. We do so by interviewing real travel experts like TV host Samantha Brown, Fromers authors from around the globe, and such public figures as Free Solo's Alex Honnold. It's a fun travel party. I hope you can join us.